it's so visually unbelievable, and it's wild to see you all sitting here in such a different context than this visually rich, stunning Bananagrams film. Mm-hmm. It is truly.
Oh, you've seen it?
Hell yeah, I saw it, and I watched it on my home television. Not where you should see it. You should see it in a theater. But my husband just walked in, and I didn't no context. This is what happens in our house all the time. Mm-hmm. But he goes, "What?" Yeah. Hold the A.
I didn't know they made porn like this anymore.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. It's art house porn.
It's art house porn. And so I just looked at him and was like, fuck toys.
Yeah, I had that same experience in 5th grade when I watched Boogie Nights with my dad.
Wow.
Where he walked in and was,
slow down with your dad.
Yeah, because he walked in, he's not from this country, and I'd gotten a hold of Boogie Nights and was watching it in 5th grade, and my dad was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Let me finish."
I went to see Y Tu Mamá También with my mother.
Yes.
And just I was like 16, just crawled into my seat.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Like, oh my God.
Also, my mom rented Clockwork Orange when I was in middle school as a classic that we watched as a family.
Yes.
And that's a weird movie to watch with your parents and your brother.
Beyond.
And having weird feelings personally through it as well. Where
Yeah.
you're like, I'm kind of into it, but like
a little
with
bit.
my dad.
Right? And then the only perfect button to that story is if you were saying like, and it was Christmas or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like
Find a button.
The endless search.
The endless search for a button. And do you guys remember that movie Black Snake Moan with Christine? You answered. You said that really fast.
Yes.
So yeah, chained to a radiator, Christina Ricci.
The little Daisy Dukes.
Saw that with my dad. Did not realize that was what the film was.
Yeah.
It was. I was like, ooh, should we do the bro seat in the middle of us? You know what I mean? Like when you don't sit next to someone, like just to make this slightly less awkward.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched an awkward movie with family?
So my mom took me to see like Knocked Up when I was like 8 years old.
Oh, great.
It was like we were like alone in the theater, and she like turned to me and she was like, I didn't know. She was like a really young mom, and so I think I just like went and saw a lot of things with her that I shouldn't have seen.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But that's actually kind of great because then it's like, in a way, when you're seeing stuff with parents, or especially, they can give you context if it's not so awkward to talk about, but it always is.
My mom was not afraid to talk about things.
Yeah. That's
we
what I
would
mean.
talk about them.
Yeah.
So there was also that part too. Like she would go into detail about like what was going on in the films that were awkward, just to explain to me what was going on, which is helpful.
Yeah.
But you're also 8.
Yeah.
I feel like with fuck toys, I'll have to give context to my mom so she can understand.
And you're like, haha,
I'm
the
like,
tables
this,
have
you know.
turned.
Now I'm explaining to you.
During Thanksgiving, I wanted to show my dad a rough cut of Fuck Toys because I wanted to rip the Band-Aid off for him.
Good.
So,
and you've already watched these other movies with your dad. You watched Boogie Nights. You're like,
kind of, but he would leave the room.
Oh.
You know, he wouldn't stay.
You can't leave the room for your film.
Well, he might. We don't know yet. But
I know. I'm thinking, like, is he just going to stay out? He fell asleep during Clockwork. Got it.
Basically,
That's
when I
also
started
weird.
showing him the rough cut, he just went on his phone and was like, "What is this?" He was second screening it.
Second screen.
My mom did ask the other day if this was one she would be comfortable watching, and I was like, yeah, of course. And then I like,
yeah, of course.
Like, during the of course, I was like, wait, all the images of like.
Do you remember our scene?
I was like, why not though?
It's a very memorable moment
It's like
in
a really
cinema.
funny
It was a
scene,
fun
though.
one.
Hilarious.
Yeah. It's funny. I was like, well, you'll see me act at least. Like that's. It's not me,
Proud of your
Mom.
baby boy.
I've just seen.
your stuff?
Just seen my scene. Yeah.
That's like what you do anyway when you get a script.
Anytime I just skip to. I'm like,
I only know
not
my
enough lines.
Not enough lines. How do you remember the first time that she watched something and then was like, no, I didn't want to see this. Like, it's my child and I love him so much, but I didn't want to see.
I mean, yeah, 13 Reasons Why was a really
hard.
Like the last season, the last episode, they were all pretty upset with me.
What? Hold on
And
a
I
second.
was
like that.
I don't have much say in what happens, you know?
Of course.
And I told them what happened beforehand. But yeah, she has that weird. She's like, I need to call you now 3 times a day to make sure this isn't real. And I'm
because you were that good and convincing, and she's
You know
so
what?
close
Yeah.
to you, and it's like that ends up being a compliment. It's also
I took
kind
it,
of
yeah.
victim blaming, but
Yeah.
it's like a little bit.
Yeah, my mom
I
gives me
stayed in
notes,
therapy,
but to the
yeah.
character. Like she'll say like,
He should have done
why
this.
is he so? Why are you so dark and angry? And I'm like, well, I don't take it up to the other people.
It's just taking
Can you
direction.
do something funny?
Yeah.
Can you do?
Yeah. Isn't that cute? Like, my parents also never have understood my job ever. And I'm like, all I do is talk to people. It's not that I do it all the time at you. Yeah. and they're like,
you. I talk at
Doing it
you.
right
Yeah.
now, Mom.
yeah. And
Just like watch my stuff.
And then the
That's what
next
I'm
question,
doing.
so then follows the confused face, and then they go, and they are paying you, right? And I'm like, miraculously, yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's like living the dream. And they're like, yeah, great. Bless you. Bye. Like, it's over. Let's talk about, like, visually why this film is so off the wall and, like, how that was born in your mind. Because
Yeah.
it is one of the most, excuse me over there.
Oh my
Ugh,
gosh.
so rude. How did you work with him?
Lots of
found it really
cocaine.
It's one of the most visually unusual films that I've ever
Oh
seen.
my gosh, thank you.
And I felt like I saw a lot of what I identify as influences in it.
Yes.
What were they to you? Am I
Okay.
right? Tell me I'm right.
You're right. You did it. Yes. You got it.
Yeah.
Cha-ching! I'm getting paid to be right.
It's a really good question. So I wasn't going to direct the movie originally. I just wanted an acting job.
Oh.
And
So you made your own stuff,
so
like
I wrote my own
really
script.
shrewd artists do eventually.
And I was like, man, no one is going to cast me in the way that I see myself, which is a little slut who has a heart. And so
it's like in the movie, and you're like, I'm a hoe, and I was like, yes,
it's me.
Anyway, go ahead.
So I realized, man, I keep getting these like weird doctor characters, and if I wanted to do that, I would have done that, and made real money. But so I wrote it just to have a job, and then when I found my producer and Francois, I don't know if Francois even remember this. We all had tacos.
I remember
And
everything.
you and Tim were both like, the movie's in your head, and you should direct it, because I don't know where we're going to find anyone else who could do it.
Yes.
Had you made that lookbook by then or not?
I just made the first deck that was
Because that's one of the most visually stunning things I've ever seen.
The first pitch deck I made, I didn't know how to make a pitch deck. I'm not computer
Good.
savvy.
Good.
So I used my scanner, and I had photos and like ripped up pieces of paper with the copy that I hand wrote, and
Yes.
like little things from my apartment, and I would just put it all in the scanner and then scan each slide and then make adjustments. So it was a very
it will
tedious,
be published one day.
labor-intensive
collector's
process.
item.
Actually, that's a great idea because
Yeah, we could make a book.
it's such a
Coffee
significant
table book.
right? I'd love to see it.
Toys the book.
Like, here's
She's gone print media, everyone.
we're gonna monetize as many. We're gonna do what we can. So then, I wanted to shoot on film because I am a snob, and I think that film is timeless. I think film ages. I think you can watch a film if it's on film from any era and it looks like a movie and it makes you feel like you're watching a movie. My cinematographer, Corey, was like, we should shoot anamorphic. They're really expensive. And I was like, well, let's do a camera test. And he was like, just so you know, with anamorphic, it stretches you so you're thinner. And I was like, sold. I was like, we're done. I was like, right to the woman in Germany. Let's get the Hog V lights. We're shipping them over.
Isn't it funny? It's always like body positivity, 100%, full steam
Yeah.
ahead. Thinner,
Must
done.
be hot. Yes.
Love it.
And this
This
was
does-
pre-Ozempic.
I didn't have those options. You
Right.
know, I was just stressful. I was just stressed.
Just stressed.
Stressed
on anamorphic. Girl, you look amazing.
I know. That's the like little clutch, trick in the book there.
Yes.
And
For
so
like filmmakers of the
Yes.
future, listen.
get your
okay?
actors the anamorphic. They're gonna thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Like, what are we shooting on here? I don't even know how I'm gonna. They're gonna
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I requested the not skinny lenses.
Not
Yeah,
the
so
spherical.
sorry.
Not
The
the
pufferfish lens. We're celebrating under the sea with the pufferfish and like
I know.
Yeah, and the
So-
really big bass, like
Well,
everything
so when
in
they
the
watch
scene
the
is-
movie, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, they're so thin and hot," you know. So then we had COVID, and
This is okay.
sure.
Like, I think you need to cut this out.
I'm canceled. But it's
You can just blur my face out.
I wasn't here.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing if everyone's face is just blurred.
Except me.
No one gave their permission for this interview.
Yeah. So then we watched a lot of movies during COVID, and I love really high aesthetic movies.
Such as
Liquid Sky, After Hours, Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
Yes, love.
Scarlet Diva, Nights of Siberia, Crimes
Awesome.
of Passion,
Woo.
Nowhere, obviously
John
John
Waters.
Waters.
Keep going.
Polyester.
Don't forget a little Dario Argento
I
flavor.
love Scarlet Diva. Yes,
Yes,
I
yes.
love. She's a writer, director, star herself. So I'm like,
Yes.
Queen did it. We can all do it. We don't have Daddy Dario helping us, but we can all do it.
Asia, yep.
Yes, and so but Jubilee is another great example of like a really fun, high aesthetic movie. Sometimes though, with these really high aesthetic movies, the plot is like kind of missing
Sure.
from the movie.
Yes.
And
like meaning AKA you have to get high and watch it
Yes.
and enjoy it for what it is.
actually,
because-
and that's my goal with Fuck Toys.
Yes.
My dream is that teenagers get high for the first time and watch this movie.
Dropping him.
I don't endorse that.
and everyone's face
Or
is
they
blurred
drop
again.
acid, or
Yes.
they just
But
are
yeah.
high on Pilates. Who knows? Like what's happening for the kids these
There
days?
you go. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
That's it.
There
That's
you
the
go.
one.
They're
Yes,
all on their
that's the one.
iPads, they're on their brain rot, and then they're like, let's watch Fuck Toys
Yay!
cinema. So I was like, I want to figure out a way where I can almost make every scene. Brazil is another great one that
Yes,
I love.
yes.
Where I can make every scene pay homage to like one of my favorite directors, cult classic, new wave, grindhouse, whatever it is, director. And then each world is kind of contained in that scene. And
Amazing.
that was sort of the like design. That was the seed. You
That
could say.
tracks so well with what I saw. That actually like makes it that adds a level of nuance to it that I wouldn't have known otherwise, and
Yeah.
that's why I love this job.
Yeah. And then yes, and then
But
we
it still turns into a kind of cohesive whole.
It does.
is cohesive
It
because of
is.
the
I mean, I
anamorphics
got
in it.
something cohesive out of it, even though it was so free flowing in that. It fell under a beautiful kaleidoscopic umbrella.
Yeah.
But it also was not, like, don't expect to ever know what is going on in this movie because it surprises you in literally every part.
Yeah.
It's an Odyssey.
Yes,
Yes,
an Odyssey.
very
it's
much
in
so.
the way that like After Hours or Pee-wee's Big Adventure are these kind of road movies. I really wanted it to be this like adventure for the audience.
And it
if,
is.
And if something affects them politically, like if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And then we discovered that there's this story within the tarot, and that was like the part that kind of cinched what the production design was going to be for the film, because I realized, okay, I can just make my color palette the palette that's from the tarot, and I can kind of create each character as a different card or each location as a different card, and then I can throw in all this iconography and symbols and color that's reflected in the cards, and then that can sort of be the like guide map for how to design such a big movie
Yeah.
that has so much going on.
It gives focus within the chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Makes
so
sense.
that's sort of how the whole look of it, I guess, came into place. And Corey, my cinematographer, really nailed it. I mean, I was like, I want every frame of painting, which is
Classic.
every director says
Everyone
that.
says that.
Every director's like, every
Yes.
frame of painting.
You're really
I
doing
was like,
it.
no, but really, every
Yes.
frame of painting.
Christopher
you want
Nolan
that?
over here.
Yeah, and then he did.
Yeah.
He really did it. And,
Killed it.
Yeah, I was really, really happy and tickled, and everyone looks amazing, and the art is incredible, and
The costumes are incredible
Yeah.
too, and like P.S. Your eyeliner's so on point in the whole film,
yeah.
and it just never budges. And I'm like, I would love that. Recommend. Like, what
Yeah.
did you use? Tell me later.
I had someone else did it.
God bless them.
Yes.
They're
You also really wanted to prioritize the day players having, like, often actors get hired for a one-liner.
Yeah.
And it's like the most boring scene in the world. It's 2 seconds. But in your film, every scene is wild, and everyone who has a line has this gigantic, amazing moment.
Yeah.
And that's so valuable.
Yes.
Everyone has
Yeah.
a moment.
I've been that actor who's come in to play the cop to give a little bit of exposition, or the nurse who's giving you the diagnosis, and then I like leave and it's like, was I even there?
Yeah. But no
It's,
one's
it's weirdly
Director.
so much harder than having like a 10-page
So much
monologue
harder.
to just come in and have like one line in the middle of a group scene. Hell.
Try not to
one's
look
good at
right in
that.
the camera. Yeah.
Your order's ready.
Horrible. And yeah, you really did like cherish
I
those
was
people.
like,
yeah.
every actor who comes in, I'm gonna make them feel like a star.
Good.
I'm gonna
She
make them
did.
feel sexy. I want them to feel, because I also know, like, if my actors are feeling hot and they're feeling confident, then they're gonna kill it. They're
Yes.
gonna give me what I need.
Right,
And I think
absolutely.
of like
Skinny because of the
So,
anamorphic.
anamorphic lens, baby.
anamorphic self-confidence. Like,
Yes.
this is all you need.
Yes.
Pilates.
Oh my God!
Permission.
Do you know what needs to happen now? Let's turn the tide. Let's, instead of like talking about people's bodies, let's just specifically say to them, "So anamorphic today."
So anamorphic.
Let's just
But
do
also-
that.
Coining
That's
that
going to
right
catch
now.
on. Let's try to make it happen. Hashtag anamorphic.
I'm so sorry I brought it back.
I know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but also we have like all different sizes in the movie, and everyone is really
Everyone's
hot.
amazing.
And different ages.
Ages,
Every one
backgrounds.
is really hot. Like, I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, it's like a great diverse cast.
I'm like watching it, and I'm always like, God, I'm kind of into this.
big
you know?
fucking Frida's in
Big
this
Frida's
movie.
in this movie.
Yes.
She was a diva. She really hung in there with us.
Her nails.
Her
all the
nails.
nails in this movie, actually, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
I always looked for people's hands to see what was going on with their nails.
Yes. Our Lori
Not a
trying
lot
to
with
pick
your
up
nails,
her
but it's
cigar
fine.
with her
Don't look at mine. God, I've been biting them before I had teeth.
Yeah.
And I get the sense that I would lock the door and never let you guys out of here and want to talk to you all day long. But I did write down a very hard-hitting question, and that's why I want to wrap this up.
Okay.
Who here believes in curses?
Wait, do you believe in the curse?
The curse, like the one in the movie, or
like periods.
just curses in general.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know. What was the curse for you in the movie is really my question.
I actually don't. I didn't feel like there was a curse.
Interesting.
I feel so. I didn't feel that it was that your character is cursed. I feel like AP was like being sort of all these outside forces are testing her, and that was the message. That was what she was sort of bringing. The energy she was bringing is like, test me, and I will show you how triumphant I will be. Especially with characters like yours, I don't want to spoil what happens.
Yeah, I know he's a good boy.
In real, you walked in and I was like, I have my head on a swivel with that one. But you're actually very pleasant. So yes, good job acting.
All the girlies are like, he's so hot. Like, I would fall for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know that's.
Why he's yes, it's like
That's what? I thought it was for my talent.
It is your talent. It is your talent.
Flash, Francois, you're a
but-
piece of meat.
Well-
But
Welcome. to the-
I think both in real life and in the movie, like what I believe in is like self-imposed curses, where like you kind of, if you believe you have a curse,
Yeah.
like you'll manifest it somehow, and
That's
this is
the
what you have
thing.
to free yourself of.
That's the thing.
and I
It's-
think
Well, I think of the curse as like structures of oppression.
Yeah.
So for me, the curse is the patriarchy, white supremacy, and colonization.
much better answer. Wow.
You didn't know that about our film?
Let her speak. Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
I'm
I'll
like,
just-
yes.
I'm done.
Things
and also, I mean, because it's literally told by a character at one point. If anyone asks, you're robbing my house. Which I think fits in with what you're
there's
saying.
this famous line, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's one of my favorite lines where she asks Big Frida, "Where do you think this curse came from?" And she says, "It be like that. It just be like there's a curse on Trashtown City."
Yeah.
And I think that Trashtown is, it's a metaphor for America, and like, and so I think if you think about, like, we're all kind of cursed right now in this situation that we're
Yes,
in.
sure.
And I don't know if it's something that we can lift individually. I think it's maybe something that collectively we have to lift.
We have to.
But I think the power of these structures is that they make individuals feel that it's their fault. And that's
Frame
personal.
of mind.
Right.
It's also frame of mind.
Right.
And that's I'm even glad that this movie just exists, period, regardless of how someone interprets it. Because I love what your intention was.
Yeah.
But even just the existence of a movie like this that makes people talk afterwards, when I recommend people see it, I'm going to say you have to see it with someone. So that way you have someone to download with afterwards, because it's so fun, but there's also so much that you can pick apart and look at. You're like, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take the mic back.
She's done talking.